Welcome to the Gap Mastermind. It is Monday, September 16th. We are more than halfway through the month, and we get to decide how we want to finish this month off. All right. We get together every Monday at noon for the Gap Mastermind. Stands for Growth, Action, and Production. Today we have a very special guest. I'm very excited to introduce Jason Galaz. He's out of Tennessee. I'm out of New York. My name is Vincent Koo, for those of you that don't know. So Jason spent 15 years in the music industry promoting festivals across 3 continents. How cool is that? And in his work, he had to leverage creative boldness, passion, guerrilla marketing, and he used these skills to create 2 nationwide apps, right? Like the home search sites, findahome.com and Busca tu Casa, the first Spanish home search app out there. And he brought his diverse background into real estate, and he brought innovation, out of the box marketing, and strategies. We're excited to see all that he's going to share with us today. He's actually going to be an eXpCon 2024 speaker. We get a little bit of a preview today. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Galaz, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good
I got my
morning.
background music cueing it. My Gap band. All right. Good morning, Gap folks. I'm actually in Lake Tahoe today. I was in San Diego yesterday at the NAREP conference, which is the Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Flew up here for the Chet Black Mastermind Leadership Conference, which means I've not slept much. You can see that right here. So I live in Nashville, Tennessee, grew up in California, and my background is more in the music industry as a music festival promoter and put on shows. And with that comes the DIY spirit, do it yourself. And that's basically what I do now in real estate. So 15 years of putting on music festivals on 3 continents, small ones, no more than a few thousand people. There's one in Tennessee, one in Belgium, and we're doing one in Argentina next month. So I'll be flying from there straight to eXpCon. I've only been a realtor for just over 5 years. Still a little baby realtor. I didn't experience the 2008 crash. I didn't do, faxing offers or anything of the sort. And we launched our app. Well, I've been working on it almost the entire time I've been a realtor, but they've both been live just over a year now. We actually kind of announced the Busca tu Casa app at eXpCon last year. The EXP was, I don't know if is everyone here from that brokerage or different brokerages? Well, I am a realtor with that brokerage, but the apps are meant to be for all brokerages. So they're a separate company. And the first one is findahome.com. And am I supposed to jump right into it, or do you have questions for me before I start?
No, you could jump right into it, and we
Okay.
will have some time for questions and answers later on, okay?
All right. So let me just tell you, I'm not a fan of door knocking. I know it's great. I'm really proud of people that are good at it. I'm not. I typically don't. I'm either the guy that doesn't shut up or the guy that won't talk to you at the party, like, just kind of in my head type thing. Then I started at the first brokerage I was at, they're big on that. They're like, let's go through the neighborhoods and that's wonderful if you're going to pick one area to farm. But in my head, it just didn't make sense. I was like, well, I have the internet. I mean, I personally don't want one small neighborhood as a farm. It's a great strategy for those that do, but that's not my strength. I'm not from the area that I live in. I've lived there 18 years, but I'll be an outsider to the folks that grew up there forever. So my strength is not as local. I figured, why talk to like these 80 people when I could talk to thousands of people all day on the internet, especially on Facebook. And so I just started creating conversations online on Facebook. There are other platforms as well, but Facebook's the best one for me. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I got into real estate is also I just like to find cool houses. I like finding cool properties for sale, kind of like Zillow gone wild, but before that started going kind of big. And I started just sharing them with people, creating conversations. And I started a Facebook group called Find a Home in Tennessee. And that has grown to 276,000 people in just that group. And the premise of that group is just to talk about properties. I don't allow, I curate them quite well. I don't allow side conversations. I don't allow over salesy feelings. That's a safe place where no matter what politics you are, that's not the place for it. And so we don't allow kind of like cyberbullying like people like to do these days. Some real estate groups do because they're focused on one specific direction. And I think that openness has allowed our brand to really grow. So from there, we've grown to over 100 Facebook pages and groups with over 2 million followers. Um, and that was the point where I went from find a home in Tennessee to findahome.com. And I use Facebook for everything. And let me just kind of break it down how. I use it for one, just to bring my own profile up to show local community that I know what's going on locally. Personally, my job is to know what's going on in the entire state. I'm a member of all 11 MLSs. And so what I like to do is I literally like to watch I read the MLS, like the stock market, like the news every morning. I'm looking to see all new listings across the whole state. So someone can come to me and say, I'm moving to Tennessee. I have 300,000 or 800,000. I need this many acres or whatever. And I already know where they should go. But my job is not to be the realtor for them. My job is to create opportunity for my team and for other teams. So let me say, it was rough at first. For one, if you're new online or if people don't know you, they're generally not very friendly. Other agents, buyers and sellers, they can get real snarky. There's this with this culture these days with people online. And I persevered through that. I just kept pushing, staying consistent with being on my online presence. And that built up my persona and my trust as a local expert to where now I can post online and it's actually a higher algorithm, it's higher insights, a lot of people reading it, um, which actually has led to me doing that for other agents. I'll actually promote people's listings across the state. So very specifically, what I do is I just share listings online. Now, as a realtor, you're supposed to have permission for that. So I asked permission, but I've set up a system to where agents just know they could come to me, they could send me their info, and then my team will start promoting it across our Facebook groups. And at the same time, that generates leads, it generates referrals in and out, and has led me to check this here to moving from Tennessee to 13 states and just started a little bit into Puerto Rico. So I went from find a home in Tennessee to findahome.com, which took a long time to get that URL. It was a battle. And then from there, Busca to Casa. And I won't go too far into those specifically because this is supposed to be for Facebook, but they are my IDX feeds. They're no different than what you might have if you're a realtor, where you have just your MLS, but mine is 13 states and hopefully one day all 50 states. Just like Zillow, just like Realtor, or any of these other websites. Actually, if you're with my brokerage, they give you one for the whole country, but I don't use that one so much. I have my own. So let's start with the specifics of Facebook. I mentioned consistency when starting local. It's incredibly important for me, at least, to be known as helpful. I don't like the salesy pitch. I don't like the kind of like money, 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 or like what's in it for me. If you're just online being helpful, whether it be market updates, at local events, anything of the sort, it really is. It should be your brand and all your authentic brand. That's going to do more for anything. Do more for you than anything by helping others. By doing so, you gain trust, and so you that's where you use your consistency. You should be online all day, every day. I know that's the opposite of what people say, like your hours. I don't mean sit there and scroll. I mean you should have a presence. I break mine up. I break my posts up. I'll do a photo, a story, and then I make sure I have just one that's just text. Because, if you have 5,000 Facebook friends, those algorithms really don't show people what you're posting. So I try to hit people at different points of the day. If you make one post at 10 a.m., maybe don't make another one until 2, or it'll pull from your algorithms. It's important to do that. You're basically kind of starting over at that point. You can actually now so Facebook has different, they're always updating, right? You know how they're always kind of changing. You're like I'm in a maze and the wall will keep moving. Um, and so there's different versions of it that I've noticed because I have more than one Facebook profile. I have one for my music industry, Jason. I have one for real estate, Jason. One's like rock and roll and mayhem, and the other one's like, baby deer and rainbows. I keep them very separate. But by doing so, I've learned how the different feeds work, how you can pick different feeds of just your friends or strangers, and the more things you click, or the more things that pop up. So on my real estate Facebook one, it's very important to me that I'm always liking or commenting real estate stuff. Now, when I first started as a sales agent, I wanted to be in all the local Facebook groups for my town, whether it's yard sales, real estate, hip Murfreesboro, or what's going on in Nashville, these type of things. And then when I see posts about homes, those are the ones I like. I don't need to comment my opinion on any other thing. And that will shape your algorithm to where it's just feeding more real estate posts, especially in referral groups. So that way, when someone makes a post, I'm at a higher chance of seeing it and finding an opportunity than someone else who's talking about football or the election or gas prices or whatever it may be. And that's fine, you could do that. But the point of my real estate profile is to focus just on that. So you could shape your algorithm. Kind of like your life is what you focus on. Facebook that's their business model. They actually sell to people like me based on that. Which brings me to almost the next part. So every listing that I have, I put online multiple times. Don't just put it out there like you're fishing and you just threw your line out, and you're just kind of waiting and nothing bit, and you just sit there. That's not how it works. You have to keep casting. Maybe it's a regular post in just text. Maybe it's one where you uploaded just the photos to your personal profile. I post in all the local groups multiple times. For example, we had an open house this weekend. Well, I didn't because I was at a conference, but it was my listing and my teammates ran it for me. And we do go heavy on signs. We do like, 20, 30, sometimes 40 signs in the neighborhood. But the biggest thing I do is I post it online. So I coordinated with two other agents who also had open houses on the same street. And I figured kind of like a community yard sale, but of open houses. And what I found was afterwards, some of the other ones, they only had one, maybe two. And we had 9 visitors. Now, that's not like crazy, but when the other one had one or two and we had 9, what was the difference? So a lot of it was I didn't just put it on the MLS and pray. I was in every local group, every real estate group, posting not just a link. Don't post a link because Facebook, they like to hide those things. I'll literally upload the photos or like 5 of the best photos, the most interesting ones. I mentioned open house. I create events for all of them. Like if I'm doing open house, I create a Facebook event. I go to Marketplace. That one's huge. I know a lot of people that are doing lead gen just by Marketplace. And if you're not familiar with Marketplace, it's a part of Facebook that kind of like the old Craigslist, but it's within Facebook. And so if I want to buy a bike or a car or a dishwasher or whatever, you could just type it on Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, Nashville or St. Pete or Los Angeles, whatever, and listings from your area will pop up. And actually, in a minute, in a little bit, I could actually go to Marketplace and show you. And so that's just one extra way to pop up in people's feeds. They might be searching for a home. Maybe they weren't searching for a home, but now they're a first time home buyer. I got a lot of first time home buyers. You get a lot of junk too. Like people are just, will they do, like lease to own or rent to own? Like, no, we're not gonna do that. But so you have to like learn how to weed it out, just like normal sales. So Facebook Marketplace. And here's a super important thing. I don't know if you know about Facebook is, do you know how many inboxes you have on with Meta? It's not just one. You have your standard inbox where people message you. You have your message request inbox where if you're not your friend, messages go there. And let me tell you a story. There was when I figured that out and went through my message requests, I had people in there that were like, "Hey, I want to put an offer in right now on that house." And I was like, "Oh no, that was 2 months ago. I just now found this inbox." It sucked. Sucked so bad. And then there's the third one is the spam one. So that one's even worse. That one they're always trying to catch what might be a bot or whatever, and that's a section one. But sometimes people land in there as well. So you should be checked if you're active online. If you're not active online, then there's probably not anybody messaging. But if you're posting 2, 3 times a day, it draws attention, and you probably have missed messages. So check those three. Marketplace has its own inbox within your inbox. So if you create a listing on Marketplace to sell a home, you're going to get a bunch of messages if it's cool home or high demand, and you have to know where to go to respond to them. And then of course Instagram, since Meta is now all these different platforms. Now Facebook is like, if I share a reel from Facebook, it shoots over to Instagram if I've allowed it. But if I share a story from Instagram, it shows up on Facebook. And so it's like all these worlds kind of doing this. So check your inbox there as well. Super important. One big thing I like to do is hyper focus Facebook advertisements. I don't do a lot. I believe in the power and strength of um, just independent mindset. In fact, but the big thing I do, I like this quote: "Do what you can with what you have where you are." That's by Theodore Roosevelt. In like the punk rock scene, they just call it DIY spirit. Do it yourself, and that's how I do 99% of my things. But every once in a while, I will boost a post, or I'll do hyper focus advertisement. And I'll tell you, I was at the NAREP conference, like I mentioned, in San Diego yesterday. That's the Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. It's a real fun conference. They have really high level speakers, like they had Tony Robbins in the past. They've had presidents or Gary Vee or Deepak Chopra. For me, I wasn't there to sell homes. For me, I was there for my Spanish app. It's the first Spanish app in the country. I need Spanish speaking realtors and lenders to use it to put themselves in there. So I went there just to talk to as many people as I can. I had a booth space. So there I am in the hallways meeting people. There I'm in my booth meeting people with an assistant. But that's just not enough. There's 7,000 people. How many conversations can I have a day? So I rely on Facebook advertisements. And when you go into Facebook, not Marketplace, Ads Manager, now they call it. They keep changing things. That's different than Marketplace. Ads Manager is where you set up a advertisement profile and pay for advertisements. Now, this is really what Facebook is. It's not our entertainment. It's not for us to have a profile it's not for us. We are the product. It's free to us to use, and then they sell our usage, our life to advertisements. So I'm at Target. I swipe my card. Everything I purchased on there, where I'm at, who I'm around, what they're purchasing, all these things start to pop up. You know people say like, my phone's listening to me. Now this advertisement popped up. Well, what it really is you've Googled something, or you're standing next to three people and the three of you have a history of these type of search options. these are your likes, things you're into, and someone like myself can pay for you to see the advertisement based on that. And back to the NARA conference, one thing I do when I go to conferences, if I want everyone there to see my message, I'll pay for an advertisement and I'll hone it in to that property in a 1 mile search radius. That way, there's just a higher chance that when they're in their room scrolling or just looking at their phone, hopefully my advertisement pops up. There's just one extra way to use Facebook to get in front of people. I love that one actually quite a bit. Open houses, that is what I meant, should have been events earlier. Oh, yeah. This was a little bit outside of Facebook, but I like postcard advertisements. If I'm going to hone in on a market, a farm for the agents on my team, I'll use like Breakthrough Broker or EXP has a version. Find Home and Busca, we started our own postcard version. And I'll put QR codes that will lead back to my social media because I don't just want people to go to the listing. I don't want them to see one house and not be interested. I want them to come to my community on Facebook. Now I have over 100 communities, but if I had just one, maybe it was one particular neighborhood, push that, get people in there, get people using it, keep it clean, keep it active, keep it helpful. If it's just a group, it's not going to do anything. It has to be entertaining, has to catch people's eyes, make people feel welcome, or they're finding value. For me, the value is they get to see cool homes for sale in Tennessee. And that's a popular thing right now. A lot of people are moving from other states to Tennessee. So I have that advantage. I have some other states where it's not very active. They just have a slower market in Nebraska or whatever. Um, so there not there's not beautiful homes there. It's just there is a I'm positioned with the way the market is and politics where there's a high demand in Tennessee. So I use that and it builds my nationwide brand. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Now that I've kind of coffee rambled at you for a little bit, I can show how any of those things work. Or do you all know where your Facebook inboxes are? That's a super big one. So simple, but
I would suggest, Jason, that you continue to go through everything that you have to go through, or like to go through, and we're putting together some questions for you. So just leave some time for us to ask these questions. Is that okay?
yeah, I want to show you the boxes. Let me do a screen share. And let me find my inboxes. Can you all see that? I'm getting a lot of happy birthday things. It's my birthday today, so don't mind all those messages. So this is my standard inbox, right? I use this actually just as much as my CRM. Now there are certain apps you can tie into your Facebook inbox where it starts sending them over to your CRMs, especially for pages. I think that's more of, and that's a great thing. But I don't fool with it too much because I have so many pages and groups that I don't want to get flagged by Facebook. If I had just like one or two, it'd be different. Also, side note for security measure, if you are running a group, since you can, I had a different profile and it got hacked, and then I lost access to tons of pages because Facebook just took it away. There is no asking them for it back. There is no proving anything. So, as a security measure, if you do start a local community group, add someone you trust as an admin, not a moderator. Because if they're just a moderator, they can't add you back. As an admin, as your safety. For me, it's my brother. He's not in real estate. He doesn't care what's going on in the groups. But if I lose my profile, I can get it back through him. He's create a new profile and he adds me back in there. A little nugget I learned the hard way. All right. What is this communities? Oh my goodness. I have another inbox that I forgot to mention. If you're in groups, they've created chat inboxes. So right here, I've got Parksville Chat Latino. I got Honey Badger EXP, Natural Real Estate. And those are all different conversations, just the people in that group. When you join a group or create a group, you can create these chats for specific conversations. I've considered maybe doing like in my large groups, maybe one that's just like first time home buyers or things to do in Nashville and just always have those conversations. I learned that by a festival. There's a festival in Tennessee called Bonnaroo, and they have like 20 different chats going. And I was thinking, oh man, what a great way to connect with like the niche down the people that you've harnessed. So chats, and write that down. I obviously forgot that one. Click these little dots here, message requests. These are people who are not your Facebook friend that are messaging you. I can tell that I think two of these were people responding to me posting in a referral group. And I don't know what these other ones are. They could be fake accounts. There are some of them are junk. Spams like the really bad ones. Like if there's like a bot or like a whatever dirty site or something that people trying to get you to click on things, they pop up in spam most of the time. Facebook's always doing that. They're not even loading, which is fine. Yeah, see. But you didn't even know that you had these kind of messages spamming at you all day long. And then, of course, in your inbox, you can also switch over to your pages. I have over 100 pages. And so that pops in. I mention this because I really don't want anyone to lose any opportunity. There's no point in marketing yourself if you can't catch the conversations. I'm going to pause there. With your questions.
Yeah, so we have Eli asking if you've got a brand that covers nationwide, and I think those are the two sites that you have, right? That's meant for more
Yes.
nationwide exposure.
Started as Find a Home in TN, Find a Home in Tennessee. Those are both websites and IDX feeds. Actually, I stopped Find a Home in Tennessee, pushed it to Find a Home in TN. I was testing different IDX feeds providers. And then I purchased findahome.com, and it's only in 13 states now, 32 MLSs. And so we will grow to be nationwide. Same with Busca tu Casa. It mirrors everything findahome.com does, but in Spanish. It's literally the whole focus is just to give equal access to the home buying process to Spanish speaking people that English people don't have. I mean, it's the same thing.
So Jason, would you recommend creating something like that for your entire state and not your local market?
If if that's what your business is, for me, my business was the entire state. Most people, that doesn't make sense. In fact, I think I may be the only agent in Tennessee that's a member of every single MLS if they're not a broker already. But it makes sense for me. I would start small and to become a master of that. Your one MLS, maybe the neighboring MLSs, depending on what your state has.
And you said you expanded from that 1 to 11. Um, did you just go automatically into the next state, or did you divide into niches?
Yeah, so I noticed early in my career that since I have an online presence, and at that time, a lot of people were flooding into Tennessee from other states. Um, and I would get a lot of people asking, well, what about Knoxville? Or what about Chattanooga? And then I'd have to go ask my broker, hey, I want to add this MLS. Can you go be a member of it so that I can be a member of it? And then I can get an IDX feed and start pushing it out. And it was just kind of a hassle because that wasn't their business. Their business was local. And so I got one or two. I'm like, no, that's way too slow. Like the market's crazy right now. I got to expand faster, within my means. That's when I switched brokerages to one that has membership already in hundreds of MLSs so that I can feed into others. And then I started partnering. So my business is to grow nationwide. Yours might be local. Maybe you want to do a few states as well. Just do what makes sense for your business.
And you said that the value that you add is, cool homes for sale in Tennessee. Okay.
Pretty much
Uh,
conversation pieces.
and and you were the one putting most of the listings in the beginning, and then did it start taking off after that? Do you have other realtors there?
No, so that was the thing is like since I'm a team lead, I'd be like, hey, everyone should do this on my team. And that's not their passion, so they don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I love to find cool houses and share them. I think it comes from like years and years of being like a DJ when I was young. You like search and search and search for a record, and then you find it, and you want to share that at a party. Like, look what I found! I put all this effort into finding it. It's the same thing for me with houses. I'm like, oh, look what I found! This cool cabin or this $1 million something. I just want to share it for people to talk about. But then at some point, we monetize that conversation.
Okay, so are you it's open to everyone. You do have other realtors on the page.
I have my realtors. So in my brand, Find a Home, no one's allowed to post in that group, but my admins, and that's just to keep it all flowing smooth. Some of the other groups I run, it's like sometimes somebody starts their own group and then they go, this is too much, and then I'll start to run it for them. So I run a lot of groups for other people. In their brands, they allow other people to post. So we still post, and what I did was I set up a system. I have a couple VAs in Colombia. They're friends of friends, so it's like family, people I can trust, and they will go to my website and grab homes and post in those groups to create conversation. So I still do it out of passion. I do have a system in place to where it's just automatically happening. One thing I did was I created this website called sharethislisting.com. And I'll tell you, it's because I got in trouble once. I shared some listing, and as a realtor, you're not allowed to like, it's so silly. You can't even take like a Zillow listing and just post it on your Facebook. You can get fined for it. It's I think it's like 1980s type thinking or something like where people would print out other people's listings. But I'm like, no, all your information's on there. So I got in trouble. And what I had to do was I said, no, look, this agent asked me to promote their listing because I have such a massive marketing, and I was just sharing their listing. Then Shrek Board's like, oh, okay, you're fine. And I thought, oh, I should have more documentation. So I created a website called Share This Listing. I just let any realtor in the country upload their listing, and my team will grab it and promote it for free. That gives me permission to share their listing. Now, if you're just in one town, just ask them, hey man, that's a really cool listing. Is it okay if I share my Facebook? 90% of the time they're okay with it. As long as you mention their name and their brokerage and all that stuff, keep it compliant. So then what happens is agents across the country uploading their listings. My team's grabbing them. They're pulling from IDX feed and then posting in our groups, and that's generating leads, like organic flow. Because
Interesting.
everyone
Yeah.
else could just pay for Facebook ads or Google ads, and all that does is drive up how much it costs and how low, and then you're not in control of who's seeing it. So I just like to control that.
Right. When I saw the description of this session today, I thought it was on Facebook ads, and I'm really happy to hear all the conversation around organic growth, through Facebook that you've provided. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're at a time where like you could just contact almost anybody. It's crazy, right? Like I'm from the 1900s, way, way, way back, and like I watched this go from phones on the wall. I watched us have beepers or pagers. I watched cell phones happen, and then the internet happened, and so like all of a sudden it was like get up, physically make something happen very, very slow to snap. Everyone's online now. Some people are protected and you can get to them, but for the most part you can find buyers and sellers or brokers or leaders. We're I feel like before it starts getting reined in and controlled a lot more, jump out there and use this amazing tool to contact everybody in the world immediately.
So guys, Jason has been licensed for 5 years. I mean, that's like you're still brand new in the business, essentially, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit. It's a little baby. And you've been able to, become a team lead and have enough to provide for your team all through what you're doing right now. Did you start that right away when you first got licensed?
Within a year, I started focusing on it. I just started thinking, oh man, my strength is online. How do I grow
So
into that?
and it's amazing all that you've accomplished. We have Jason here. Anybody have any questions for him on how to build your brand on Facebook and how to get some business from Facebook or anything? we had Natalia ask about uh, Facebook Marketplace. Just some more details. Is Facebook Marketplace the new Craigslist?
Yeah, I think they, you know how it is with every major provider, they just want to like eat up someone else's other idea and pull it in. I mean, that's what they do, right? That's what every big software company does. You can create something, and then if it becomes super valuable, they just take it over. And so, yeah, marketplace is huge. Let's try that real quick. I'm going back to share screen. Facebook, um, marketplace. But you just type it in there. Okay, cool. I could buy a blow up obstacle course. That seems pretty neat. You know, it's pulling from one of I did a advertisement in West Tennessee, so it's pulling West Tennessee and Missouri stuff. What happened? Oh, I clicked it. See how it says create new listing or create multiple listings, item for sale, multiple listings, home for sale. Now, here's one thing I learned. If you're selling just land, you have a land listing, don't put it in a home for sale because it doesn't have all the same. It wants you to have how many bedrooms. And so I just put item for sale and then I'll put like 20 acres in East Tennessee. And then I make sure it's compliant with all the stuff inside the listing itself. Ooh, compliance. That's a big thing. This is still an advertisement. And so make sure you have whatever your state requires, your brokerage name, the phone number, the one click thing. Don't just have it. And also, that's just for the consumers. You know, they see something that just seems kind of shady because a lot of wholesalers or a lot of like FISBOs or just fake stuff happens. You know, fraud's
Jason, can
huge
you
right
go
now,
back
real
to
estate.
that? You said that that you're posting land as item for sale. Are you doing home for sale as item for sale as well?
If it's a house, I'll go right here to home for sale. If it's
Okay.
land, I'll go item for sale and I'll put the description. Because if not, it just looks like a zero property. It doesn't jive. I learned that the hard way. So home for sale. And that was just by typing marketplace in the search bar. And then it'll sometimes you'll see it zone in on your specific area. See all these tools here? Where do I want it? Do I want to add video? Do I want to add photo? I mean, there's no charge. Why not have this for every single listing? For one, you find buyers and sellers, but two, it creates so many conversations and leads.
So for
Our
somebody that
description.
runs a team, you have a listing. Does everybody do this? Does it make sense to have multiple listings of the same property?
I think so. I'm a firm believer as many times as you have one particular item, like repetition of imagery for one, branding, showing how active you are in the market. But then the more times one thing's popping up, is that starts to generate more algorithm. So just like if everybody at once Googled everything, that starts to pop up first. Facebook's no different. On a side note, on my phone here, which you can't probably actually see, I just got a notification from my Facebook ads manager that wants to report to me what my results were from this weekend at the NAREP thing. See how many tools you have? Now that was a paid thing, but everything else here you're seeing is no charge.
So you mentioned something about and I wasn't sure if you were talking about properties or conferences when you were saying I create an ad and I put it out to a 1 mile radius.
Okay, I use it for both. I use it when I'm at conferences just to try to get more repetition and there more imagery, more placement. But open houses is great, right? Especially if you want everyone, if you're farming a neighborhood and you get one listing, don't just stop at the listing. Like you want everyone in the world to know that you've done it, that you're the best one at it. Look how hard I'm working. I'm not just putting it on Zillow. You know, I've got my flyers, I got my signs, I got a lot of signs, the really big ones. I've got door knocked, I've sent out postcards, and you're going to see me online. There's no missing it. You're going to see me in the groups posting about it, as many local groups as I can. Now, a lot of them have rules against realtors. So you just got to read the rules. Sometimes it's only on Monday. Sometimes it's not at all. Sometimes it's a free game. Um, And if you want to boost your advertisement, like if you open house, if you're planning it ahead and not just a last minute open house, go into Ads Manager or Ads Manager. And this is where you create your advertisements. It could be $5 a day, it could be $50 a day. And you could pick, you have to pick where it's going to be. You could pick your town. I personally pick an address and have it do whatever radius I need for that. And then just everyone in that radius has a higher chance of seeing your advertisement. It doesn't have to be a clickable advertisement. It could just be a picture of the house. So someone would go, oh, I remember the house. That's the one with the street. Just one more way to get in front of everyone else. Yeah, see, I've got uh, one advertisement in Los Angeles looking for Spanish speaking agents. One for Busca, which I turned off like yesterday. One for a cabin I had for sale in the mountains.
Okay, and you're
Now,
managing
but I
these.
get way more insight on my groups. Let me show you my groups. Let me show you one of the groups. And it doesn't have to be real estate. Like I am a huge fan of Mexican food. I grew up in California. I moved to Tennessee. We don't have good Mexican food in Tennessee. Really hard. And then I'm being snotty about that. So I created a group, the Tennessee Taco Support Group, and there's like 6,500 people in there. All we do is talk about what some food we found. Oh man, look at this taco place, right? What does that do? For one, I just find good food and I help mom and pop shops get business, but it builds my algorithm because the more conversations and likes and interactions you get anywhere on Facebook makes it so that your posts in other groups are seen more. And so, like, for example, that's a home I posted last night. Okay, this is kind of a small one. Let's look at my insights. I posted this, I don't know, 11 o'clock last night or something from the airport. It's had 25,930 people seen it. 3,000 people have, engaged with it. I've got 95 likes. This is a very small one for me, but it's small for me because I have such a high algorithm muscle. If any other agent just posted once, they're not going to have these numbers. I'll get up into the millions sometimes. Photo views, 20. And then I use this in my listing presentations, actually. But look how many people I'm able to get to see your listing, the exposure. It doesn't cost you any extra. I've built this platform. 42 people have clicked the link to go to my website.
And you're just using the IDX feature on your website, so you don't really have to reach out to the agent or anything like that, right?
You should if you're posting someone else's property. Do your own brokerages if you want, or your own properties. It doesn't have to be specifically this. I've built mine this way. It could be anything, any type of conversation that builds. You could have one that's just about a football team. You're just the expert on this football team, and everybody knows. There's a deal I have right now. This guy is like the lender for all the people in the hockey, like their kids are in hockey, just because he's all hockey, 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 and then when it comes time to it, oh, I'm a lender too. Boom, boom, boom. He gets so much business from that. It doesn't have to be real estate. For me, it is because I've built this other platform. I'm also always pushing, my app to my users. So that one's got 12,000 posts. These are my admins in Colombia that are working all day long, which is a struggle because if you're from outside of the country, you sometimes get blocked and you have to like prove that you're not a fake account. Yeah, those are all fairly new. So since I am so heavy on Facebook, I've gotten to the point now to where a lot of other agents will just literally co-sign with me. They don't, not even my brokerage. They say, hey, I really need help. I'm having trouble with this listing, or I've got this cool listing coming up. Will you co-agent with me? Sure. if they're a good person, a good agent. So they've created their own client and they've got a listing contract and they just add me in and then I'll promote their listing with my marketing.
277,000 members. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Was it
thank you.
the strategy's been the same from the beginning?
Just consistent every time, one kick 1,000 times. But I learned it in my music industry as a festival promoter. I spent like $120,000 of advertisement with Facebook just trying to get people to come buy tickets to my events. And um, after a while, and when you spend money with Facebook, for one, they'll open up access to you. Like this group, they've already given me like beta version where they show it to more people because it has so much activity. If something new pops up, they'll ask you to try it first. But also, I just learned how to surf their algorithms. And it's kind of it sounds so dorky. It's kind of like the Matrix. You really start to learn. You can feel when like interactions are flowing slower or faster. If you're that active, you're like, oh, that should have had more. What's going on? And you might, I don't know, not to go too crazy, but if there's a lot going on in the world and stuff, or a lot of other distractions, they start to kind of like feed off, or a lot of bots start happening on certain days. It all coincides with other things. So just pay attention, stay consistent, push right through that. No
So you
one's
have
liking
your
your stuff, try again.
Jason, you have your VAs posting, right? Um,
Mhm.
what what are you doing now on this page? You're posting sometimes every once in a while, but tell me how much work is involved and how much monitoring you have to do.
Yeah, so you can't just have VAs do it because that doesn't build like trust and integrity, you know. So they'll post a lot of the ones where it's share this listing, like somebody's asked us for help promoting their property, which we do for free. I'll do them specialty. I'll do like one a day myself. And then sometimes my agents will pop in there. A lot of times it's these two, but I don't allow, there's just usually about three of us. I think that's someone trying to post. Yeah, other people aren't allowed to post in this group, and it's just to keep the integrity of the group. It's not that other people can't have their properties in there; they can just ask us to post them.
All right. Do we have any questions for Jason here on anything so far?
If not, I'll finish my coffee and get back to my other mastermind. I'm in Tahoe at the Cheplack leadership thing.
All right. And let's see. How did when you came in as an individual agent, when did you develop the team?
My second year, I my my first actual year was very part time because I was still heavy into my music career. And I actually hit a very hard year with the music career. Like there was a lot of ticket sales, and I was having a baby. I was like, I guess I got to be grown up for now. Go be a realtor heavily. My second year, I started making like top of my office or top in the region. I went, okay. And my broker was like, you should start a team. I was like, I don't know what that is, but yeah,
Did a lot
sure.
of that come off of the Facebook work that you were doing?
That was at the beginning when I started finding a home in TN. It just coincided with I was creating a lot of opportunity, way more than I can handle. And so my broker at the time was like, you should have a team so they could do stuff. And then I realized, well, man, I'm creating opportunity across the whole state. I should send referrals out. And so that's what I do now, just a ton. I mean, I have my agents, I have like 8 right now, my production team. But in Tennessee, I have what I call my referral team, and that's agents from other teams. It might be entirely in another team, another brokerage, and I just send them referrals all day long.
Excellent. Okay. Michelle has a great question about posting on Facebook Marketplace, if it should come from a group or from her main profile page.
I th- I prefer the main one. You want to build your genuine brand, like your authentic brand and trust, because you're wanting people to know that you are. If not, it just looks like there's a disconnect. Like, oh, that's just some company.
So basically, you have your personal page, and then you've got these these groups
Mhm.
that you
Groups and
mentioned, and that's
pages,
okay.
over
And
100
you're
of them, but we might be adding another 170 groups to manage for other agents that have started their own. And they're just like, I'm like, don't worry, I got it. Because
so
what we
how
do
do
is
you
we keep them
find those
clean.
opportunities?
They just happen kind of organically as well. That's a big word in my life, where I meet someone and like, hey, I do a lot of Facebook stuff too. Man, bots all day long and junk and whatever. And so I was like, oh well, I'll manage it for you if you want. Um, I can use it for opportunity, use it for opportunity. Sometimes I'll create them their own sort of like mirror site, what do you call it, white label site of my own brand for theirs, so they can create leads off of it.
Hmm,
That's a big one. Actually, that's how I got another 150 groups coming up. So we're at 2 million followers. By the time we're done, I mean, it'll probably be at least four.
amazing. And it sounds fairly duplicatable.
Yeah, I always say come at it with a mindset of abundance. You're not coming in for like your territory. It's like how can I help you and you help me create friendships?
Very good. All right. So any last questions for Jason? Jason, you've given us a lot today, quite a bit. And I'm hoping that our group will go out there and apply it in their market, in their state, and see what they could get done
Yeah,
through
and if you have
Facebook.
questions afterwards, find me, find a home, or Jason DeLaz. If you add my realtor one, I won't accept it because I mean, if you add my music one, because that's just for the music crowd, find my realtor profile or find a home. If you send me a message, I don't respond, it's because my assistants have read it first and I just haven't gotten to it. They're there to catch the somebody needs a home real quick, that type of stuff.
Very good. Jason, we appreciate you. We appreciate all that you shared. And, look forward to seeing you on stage at EXPCon.
Thank you.